right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Hands off of Rafa now! Hands off of Rafa now!
A demonstration in the streets. What sparked a march for Rafa in Maplewood? A Palestinian family in St. Louis seeks help as war rages on back home.
Part of the missiles that were still lit on fire, and she's walking. Of course, she's so nervous and worried, so she's walking on these little missiles that are still lit.
It's the story of a little boy who lost his leg, how he's now getting treatment thousands of miles from home.
Storm tracks, the updated tornado tracks from the storm surveys, and why the weekend ahead looks promising.
But first, storms hitting St. Louis County.
Our kitchen windows were shattered and the hail was coming in sideways.
The cleanup underway after hail strikes and tornadoes. Tonight, people on both sides of the river are busy cleaning and rebuilding after strong winds, hail, and 5 confirmed tornadoes. Thank you for joining us at 10. I'm Brent Solomon. Mike and Kelly have the night off. St. Louis County saw a lot of damage here. Now at 10, 5 on Your Side's Laura Bacheski in Valley Park, where people are cleaning up from relentless hail.
Roofers and contractors are all over Mission Hill Estates neighborhood because all the houses look like this. Neighbors actually described the damage as Swiss cheese because of the sheer amount of holes the hail put in their siding.
Sounded like firecrackers going off in the house. It was one of the most intense things I've ever heard.
Mona Mercer says their house and cars in Valley Park were hit by golf ball and baseball-sized hail.
Kitchen windows were shattered and the hail was coming in sideways on the house. So a lot of the hail actually came in the house and was all over our kitchen table, kitchen floors. We're still cleaning up inside. There's damage all throughout the roof.
The rain came down so fast their yard started to flood and it crept its way into their house. All of this will cost them probably $100,000 to fix.
It has been a tumultuous spring storm season. It just seems like every week. We're getting a little tired.
Next door, Terry Banderette was lucky when it came to their siding, but the windows, not so much.
We lost 3 windows in the storm. We got them all boarded up now. Family was able to come over and help us out.
One street over, homes at the back of the cul-de-sac were littered with holes and shutters were stripped off this family's home. They were actually out of town at the time.
It was shocking for us. I was talking to my husband. I hope our house is still standing, when we come home. It's still standing, but, siding, we can fix it.
And while the damage won't be cheap to fix, they're grateful they have each other to lean on.
We're sharing plywood, so in a neighborhood like this, it's actually kind of easy to stay more positive. Everybody's helping each other.
Stuff can be replaced, but people can't. So we're all just really happy everyone got through without any injuries.
Reporting in Valley Park, Laura Barcheski, 5 on Your Side.
And tonight, the town of Morningdale Place is also cleaning up following a tornado there. An EF1 is now confirmed in that area. It tossed anything it got its hands on, uprooting trees and destroying homes. Families are now banding together to clean it all up.
I woke up, my phone had like 40 text messages of people seeing the storm had been around here and making sure we were okay. So yeah, definitely makes you feel good to know you have all your people with you.
Max wind gusts hit 97 miles per hour. That twister originally started in Illinois before jumping across the river into Melville. And over on the Illinois side, 2 tornadoes confirmed in Clinton County, one in Carlisle, the other in New Baden. Carlisle's twister ripped through this building that you see. This is the Billman Truck Company. Parts of the garage were tossed all around that area. Homes, barns, trailers, all severely damaged from the heavy winds. And now some are left without their homes.
All of a sudden I heard a whoom, and the whole roof was gone in the back part of the house. It just happened that fast. So I'm just glad that nobody got hurt. It's funny, 35 years ago on Memorial Day I moved in here. So now 35 years later on Memorial Day I lost my house.
Emergency crews confirmed several trees and large branches were brought down in Belleville and in Dupo. Let's get a closer look at the weather picture right now. We're hoping that severe weather is behind us, but here's Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell with the answer.
The chances certainly are much lower over the next few days, but we wanted to bring you up to speed on what happened here yesterday as this area of thunderstorms developed during the afternoon hours. We knew it would become severe, and indeed, as it developed right over and just north and west of St. Louis and pushed through the area, it brought with it a bunch of hail, as you just saw, along with those tornadoes. This one in South County that started in St. Louis County, went across the river and lifted just before Columbia, Illinois. That was 8.8 miles with peak winds of 97 miles per hour. The tornado in New Baden, 10.5 miles on the ground there. All of these were small tornadoes in general, 11.3 miles for this one by Carlisle Lake, but that one caused a lot of damage, especially to the campground there. And then up here, eastern portions of Marion County into Clay County, Illinois, the strongest one actually ended up being the one from Omega to northwest of Xenia in Ohio, rated EF2, and that did some major damage to a hog farm, with completely destroying one of the hog barns. 5 to 8 p.m. is when that happened. Most of them were rated EF1. You had that one EF2 with 130 mile per hour winds, but here's the most important statistic of all: no injuries, no deaths. That's what matters. Brent?
All right, Scott, stay close. You can check out the latest updates from our Weather First forecast anytime, on air, online, or on the 5+ app. Find it free in your app store. Just search KSDK. Just hours ago, a march for Rafa in Maplewood. Dozens gathered at Ryan Humert Park on the corner of Sutton and Lindover. First to make signs and then to protest. Marchers took to the streets around 5 this afternoon. Those who took part say they're speaking out against a bombing that killed dozens of people in a refugee camp in Rafa, including children. They say they just want it to stop.
The kind of atrocities that should never be tolerated, and they're being done with American arms by the supposed American ally, and this has to stop. We have to stop supporting this. Israel has to stop doing it, and America has to stop supporting it.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the bombing in Rafa was a, quote, tragic mistake. He did not further elaborate. Tonight, a 12-year-old boy from Gaza is now in St. Louis getting medical care after he lost his leg in a missile attack. He's the first of potentially many through a nonprofit called Heal Palestine. In a story you'll see only on 5 on Your Side, Annie Krall sits down with his family and the volunteers who helped bring him here. What an emotional story here, Annie.
Brent, that's right. That 12-year-old boy is Hadi Zakut, getting treatment at Shriners Children's Hospital in St. Louis. He's one of 12 children from Palestine who came to the United States for medical treatment last Monday as Israeli airstrikes continue in the aftermath of Hamas militants' killings, which has led to droves of people leaving Gaza for refuge after more than 36,000 people have been killed.
6 months preparing for this moment. Hadi Zakut arriving at Lambert Airport, organizing personal documents and free medical care for this 12-year-old wounded in central Gaza. Hadi has spent a week in St. Louis and doesn't speak English yet, but spoke through translator Lena Warad to talk about a November 15th Israeli airstrike that literally hit home.
So he said it took him from 9 to 12, so 3 hours waiting in line to get water. At 12 p.m., he got the water and he's walking back to his home. Right in front of his home, that's where the missile hit, the bombing.
His mother, Camelia, vividly remembers the explosion, burying Hadi's father in rubble and severely injuring her son's left leg.
So the doctors, upon examining him, realized that the powder from the missile was poisoning the actual bone and ligaments in his leg. So they did not want that to spread any further. So that's why they had to amputate his leg.
The nonprofit Heal Palestine helped temporarily bring him to the U.S. to receive a prosthetic leg at Shriners Children's Hospital, calling Kirkwood home with a host family. But Camelia left 6 kids behind, the youngest being 3, so Hadi could travel with a female relative.
And the female has to be either his mother or his grandmother. And you know, he doesn't have a grandmother. So she said, I had to make that difficult decision, and I had to kind of just take that step and just make sure that, because she said his situation at that time was very, very difficult, and she wanted him to have a fair chance at regaining his health.
Their prayers continue for the thousands of injured Palestinian children and severely damaged healthcare system.
It's going to be very difficult for me to explain the situation for you the way it actually is. There is no life in Gaza now.
Very different, Warad says, from their new life in Kirkwood, swimming and hanging out with friends this weekend.
He said the people are very nice and kind here. Oh.
The family is planning to stay in Missouri for about 6 months as Hadi gets fitted for his new prosthetic leg and goes through physical therapy. He hopes one day he can grow up to be a video game designer. If you're interested in donating to Heal Palestine, you can find a link on our website in the As Seen on TV section of KSTK.com.
Coming up, honoring the fallen.
Learn a little bit about each one of those and share them with somebody. That's how we keep their names alive.
A look at the Memorial Day services all across the bi-state. Many of you now making those summer travel plans, but no one wants to empty their wallet. How to keep you and your cash safe this summer.
The severe weather threat has shifted away from our area for the rest of the month. We are tracking what the month of June looks like this year.